Hi everyone, my name's Scott. Welcome to Planes, Trains, Everything, and welcome to Poland. This video is all about returning to places you like. Should you really do it? Travel writer Paul Theroux once wrote, "Without change, there can be no nostalgia." Theroux also wrote, "The decision to return to any scene in your life is dangerous but irresistible, not as a search for lost time, but for the grotesquerie of what happened since." The longer it takes for you to return to a place you like, the more likely you are to be disappointed, as it would have changed from how you remembered it. Today we're off to Szczecin, a city which I first visited in 2014. It was my first ever visit to Poland, a country which I've since fallen in love with. I love the food, the people and the country itself. However, will the city be as good the second time around? I won't have the same sort of excitement I had 8 years ago when I explored this city for the first time I set foot in Poland, the first time I heard Polish accents, tried Polish food. Not only can a place change, but a person can change as well. Let's find out. I'm staying at the Ibis Hotel, which is where I stayed 8 years ago. I'm going to use my charm, wit and charisma to see if I can check in early, because after all, it is only midday. If that doesn't work, I'll rely on the fact that I'm an Accor frequent guest. It's so cool walking up this hill again, I remember it so well. Early check-in, but I think it's because I'm an Accor member. Right, let's go exploring. In fact, before we go out, I'll just give you a quick look at this room. It's actually quite groovy. The hotel I stayed at last night had a more, how shall I put this, senior clientele. As a result, no 6:30 or 7 o'clock breakfast. It was a more leisurely 7:30. As a result, I missed my 8 o'clock train. The 9 o'clock train was cancelled and I caught the 10 o'clock train. I got here in Szczecin at midday. It's now 12:30. That has really cut into the day. Last time I was here 8 years ago, I walked to the northern side of the city. This time I'm going to catch a tram just to save a bit of time. There's something cool I want to show you. Well guys, this little excursion hasn't ended the way I thought it would. I was supposed to have ended up on the northern side of the city of Szczecin, According to Google Maps, you use line 6 or line 11 to get here. I used tram 11. I was heading in the right direction, and I seem to have ended up in a housing estate somewhere. Right, I will show you the Bismarck Tower, which I wanted to show you. I was here 8 years ago. I'm pretty sure I've got some footage stored away somewhere, otherwise I'll nick some from the internet. At least you get some colourful trams to look at. Now I was on the right hand side of the road, caught the tram going that way. I should have been heading north. If I've ended up south, that might make sense because the shadow's that way, which indicates that's south. And this is the way we've come. I don't know. Anyway, let's get back into the city centre before I'm totally lost. This video is all about should you return to a place that you like. I liked Szczecin 8 years ago. Now it's different and I'm trying to work out why. There's been a lot of investment in the city centre. There's still a lot of construction going on. Some areas are like a logistical nightmare trying to get past them. Nothing wrong with renewal and updates, but it's changed. It's changed big time in just 8 years. Right, let's go exploring. I just made a quick pit stop at the Ibis Hotel again, and I noticed they had street maps of Szczecin on the front desk, so I borrowed one and had a look, and it has a tram network map, which is something that the tram network doesn't actually advertise. Most metros and trams have an actual map of the network. They don't do that over here. Anyway, I was having a look, and tram route number 11, sure enough I did end up at the right terminus, but the terminus has moved. And the reason why is because route number 11 no longer goes up the road along the river, which was indicated by Google Maps. It now kind of veers off and terminates at another point. According to Google Maps, tram route number 1 did not go to this location, and yet according to this map, which is current, yes it does. So I think Google Maps need to update their tram network tram stops. Well, that settled that. I knew I was heading in the right direction because as we were heading out of town, I did recognise some of the gates, some of the Victorian arches that they have. Right, I'm going down to what is called Szczecin's Venice, which I think is pushing it a little bit, but I'll give them credit. You'll see what I mean. I'm trying to get onto that island there, here at Szczecin's Venice, but that bridge is closed. I've got an appreciation for old industrial architecture, and this is an absolute gem. I would really love to be able to go over there and have a good poke around, but I think there could be complications with health and safety and whatever. I'm pretty sure it's barricaded off to the public. It was 8 years ago anyway. I'm glad to say that's one part of Szczecin that has not changed. It's still amazing. However, I think they should really try and do something with it, turn it into apartments or something. It's just lying abandoned and has for decades as far as I know. This area as well is highly sketchy. I wouldn't want to come here at night, that's for sure. Right, let's go exploring again. There you go, new apartments being built on the other side of the river. Why couldn't they convert that old building into apartments? Yeah, that old building is locked up tighter than Fort Knox. This is the Archcathedral Basilica of St. James the Apostle. I changed my mind about going into the church. I thought, nah, it's 5 p.m, let's get moving. That was actually quite interesting, that church. It's something which I didn't see the last time, and I found that pendulum actually quite interesting as well. Sort of proof that the world is round, and it kind of kills off the idea of the flat earth, doesn't it? Right, down here. Some people collect hard rock cafes, I collect Ibis styles, and this one is in the theme of a circus. Let's go in and have a look. I grew up in Sydney, Australia, and lived there for 25 years, but now it's a foreign city to me. I haven't been back for 30 years. The city still has the Harbour Bridge, Opera House and the great harbour and beaches, but since I left, the central business district has grown, the Sydney Harbour Tunnel was opened, Anzac Bridge built, M2 motorway built, the North West Metro, trams have returned to Sydney, and the city hosted the Olympic Games. My local town of Eastwood, home of the Granny Smith apple by the way, has changed from a middle-class white neighbourhood to a community of mainly Chinese and Koreans. My high school has been demolished, my parents' home flattened and is now apartments, and my old stomping ground of Parramatta is completely unrecognisable. The longer it takes to return to a place you like, the greater the risk it will change, and it won't be the place you remember and loved the first time around. Do you fancy a montage of street art? Right, here we go. So, Szczecin. Should I have stayed or should I have come? I'll be leaving Szczecin happy that it's still a lovely city, but I'm not leaving with the same kind of feeling I had when I was here 8 years ago, and I'm trying to work out what it is. Did I first arrive here wearing rose-tinted glasses? It's the first time I had been to Poland, it's the first city I had visited in Poland, and I now have a love affair with this beautiful country, so maybe that had something to do with it. Poland left the communist bloc 30 years ago, and I feel in the last 8 years, because of the changes which have taken place, it's a little bit less Polish and a little bit more international. There's something missing. And again, my expectations may have changed as well over the last 8 years. Either way, should I have come to Szczecin? I'm glad I did, but it's not going to alter the feeling I had when I was here 8 years ago. I really enjoyed that visit. This time it was okay. Anyway guys, thanks for coming along on this unusual visit to Szczecin in Poland, and I hope to see you next time.